company's name, Red Digital Cinema Camera Company. It's not just cinema that we cater to natural history filmmakers, documentaries, when you need a lot of resolution for your VFX plates, and XR, which we're going to talk in a bit. What is the new technological? What do we have to contribute to the new technology? New technological revolutions that are happening. So we'll start with, as I told you, I'm going to talk about 3 cameras that are at offer: VRaptor, VRaptor XL, and Komodo X. I'll talk in the same exact order. Let's talk about VRaptor 8K. As the name suggests, it's an 8K camera. It's a brand new sensor. It takes its sensor dimensions from our previous generation Monstro. It's a 35.4 megapixel, basically 8K. 8K is equal to 35.4 megapixels. And it boasts 17 plus stops of dynamic range, more than 17 stops. And compared to our previous generation Monstro, that is the comparison. DSM-C to Monstro, it can give up to 2/3 to 1 stop of advantage for cinematographer, especially in shadows. And it is ultra high speed. Ultra high speed is the main feature of Red Digital from the beginning. It can do 120 frames per second in 8K full exposure, full frame. And when you go down to 4K, it can go up to 120. In 4K widescreen is 2.4 to 1, our cinema screen. It can go up to 300 in 4K. Which we won't suggest the 2K, but in 2K it can go up to 600 frames per second. We're going to talk a little bit more about high-speed imaging. Apart from that, the third important point is multi-format. What exactly is multi-format? If you take a full-frame version of Red, basically, the sensor dimensions, as I told you, are 41 millimeters by 21 millimeters. That is a little bit, in terms of width, a little bigger, around 5 millimeters bigger than 36 mm full frame. And in terms of how tall it is 21.5 millimeters, which is almost closer to full frame. The reason why we went with wider is basically it's a wider sensor compared to 36 by 24. We're talking about 41 by 21. The reason why we went with it is because we are catering cinema majorly to cover cinema lenses as much as possible, spherical lenses especially. So when we talk about 8K full sensor, when you go down to 6K, that is when you crop the sensor to 6K, the same sensor will act as a Super 35 sensor. So that is the reason why we are calling it a multi-format sensor. Like the same, if you want to create, for example, you're shooting a film where there is a sequence of 5-10 minutes where you want to show difference in visual in its entirety, not just changing the color or color pattern. That will anyway happen, the production design, etc. But at the camera level, at the lens level, if you want to create, for example, Super 16 look, you can go to 3K on the camera and you can put the older Super 16 lenses which might be biting the dust at rental houses. You can grab a few lenses and you can get entirely different look from your rest of the film. Rest of the film you shoot in 8K, for example. You want to create a Super 35 depth of field for a particular sequence, you can do that. Basically, it's a multi-format camera. So you can shoot full frame lenses in 8K. You can shoot Super 35 lenses like Ultra Primes, Master Primes. They're still good lenses. You can shoot them at 6K. 6K is still a very good resolution. 6K, if you have 6K, I think majority of the OTT platforms accept that as gold standard. 6K is good enough. So that's the point. That's the reason why we call it a multi-format sensor. R3D. R3D is Red's raw codec. We pioneered the R3D codec around 15-16 years back when our first Red 1 camera came. And there is new technological evolution in that R3D too, but it's gotten much better. Basically, R3D compression system will give you the balance, the right balance of capturing the entire data that is available in front of you, the high dynamic range image, at the same time not filling terabytes and terabytes of data. That's the right balance the R3D takes. So after a point, basically, if you are capturing more data, it will be of no use, because it goes into another tangent. Basically, your post-processing, you should have the capability to post-process. If you are shooting for example, say a 24K image or 30K image, it's of no use. So the technology has to go hand in hand. The camera has to go hand in hand with your post-production, and the post-production has to go hand in hand with the projection system. So yeah, that's the thing. We're going to talk a little bit more about R3D. And it's a new form factor compared to our older DSMC2s. It's gotten even smaller. DSMC3 cameras gotten even smaller. And the media, previously we used to have proprietary Minimag SSDs, and with new DSMC3 cameras, we sort of have what I call secularized, democratized the process. We are using CF Express Type B. And then I/O. I'll talk a little bit about I/O. It will be having 12G SDIs compared to 3G SDI on DSMC2s. And there is wireless streaming, there is 5-pin XLR, EXT port, USB-C. If you guys want to check all these things, you can check them on, you can go to the booth after the presentation. You can physically check the camera and ports and get a detailed demo. So we've introduced a new interface called assistant interface that will be on the right side of the camera. If the DP is busy with his framing, lighting, etc. from the top operating menu, the first is he can, if he wants to do any changes, he can do it on the right side of the camera. That is what we call assistant interface. So yeah, basically